All right, guys, today we're going to be reacting to the black conservative perspective. Trump's high Kamala Harris, worst nightmare, as she runs away from the president's debate. Let's jump in.
Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
That was rough.
We gotta talk
That was rough. That was rough.
some bombshell news from the Trump campaign as they are making moves, okay? The Trump campaign is upping the ante by hiring some heavy hitters to help advise President Trump on how to defeat Kamala Harris, okay? News came out that Trump had hired Corey Lewandowski, who helped the Trump campaign back in 2016, back in the prime days, right? The good old days, okay? The 2016 campaign. He had helped out with that. Trump had hired him back as an advisor for the team. And now we have some more bombshell news about the moves that Trump is making, because now he has hired Kamala Harris's worst nightmare to help him out with debate prep, okay? As there likely will probably only be one debate, September 10th, on ABC, and I want to talk about that because I think that this is a sign that the Trump team knows that they'll probably only get one crack at Kamala Harris, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is that, well, Kamala is essentially running away from multiple debates. She's definitely not going to do the Fox News debate on September 4th. She already said she's not doing the NBC debate either, which is supposed to be after the ABC debate, even though that one will be rigged in her favor, just like the ABC debate. She wants to do some debate in October when people have already cast their ballots, okay? This is what she's trying to do after the ABC debate, okay? So I think Trump is treating this ABC debate as a must win, right? He has to come in and dominate. And I think that is why he's hiring Tulsi Gabbard, because she absolutely destroyed Kamala Harris in the Democrat Party 2019 primary. Now, there are a few differences between Tulsi Gabbard back then and Tulsi Gabbard today, okay? I want you guys to understand. Yes, I know we all love that clip of Tulsi destroying Kamala Harris, right? Essentially ruining any dream she had of being president back then. But you guys got to understand, Tulsi was attacking Kamala from the left, okay? What Tulsi was talking about was progressive criminal justice reform. And this is a very valid criticism of Tulsi, is that Tulsi, back then, she was definitely more liberal and progressive on some issues, right? Like this issue of criminal justice reform, which we know has been a disaster in these liberal cities. Now,
You know what's funny about this? How they use the word criminal justice reform, but it has nothing about justice. It's literally just letting criminals out of prison. And then they go and look at you and say, see, our cities, our crimes are low because, you know, we're not putting people in prison. Well, what they don't tell you is that they're not arresting anybody. If they're arresting anybody, they're just releasing them. Anything that has justice reform, none of that stuff, I don't believe it. I believe in strong enforcement from the Justice Department. That's it.
I'm thinking that she has changed her mind, that she's realized that, hey, I was wrong on this issue, and she has evolved, right? This is what I'm hoping, right? But I want people to understand that, yeah, back then, Tulsi wasn't destroying Kamala from the right. She was destroying Kamala from the left. So there's a little bit of a difference here when you're debating Kamala from the right. I don't expect Trump to be attacking Kamala from the left, at least not on criminal justice reform. At least I hope not, right? I hope this guy doesn't come out and start talking about how we need no bail, right? I mean, that would not be good. I don't think that is what Trump is going to do. The good thing is that because Tulsi has been very active, she actually is going to give us some insights in regards to how she would attack Kamala Harris, okay? Some of her criticisms of Kamala, which are probably going to show up in a debate because Trump is probably going to be taking this advice, right, in regards to how Tulsi would go after Kamala. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Just want to play this clip of you on stage with Kamala Harris from, I guess it's 4 or 5 years ago now, and ask you a very specific question about this exchange. Roll it here.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
I am proud of that work, and I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
So that was quite the moment. July.
Yeah, I remember that. I might react to it again. But I remember always hearing a snip of it, but I would love to just hear that back and forward.
2019, you gave an interview to the AP saying all you had to do was Google that information.
Yeah.
And that you were surprised that her comeback was not more effective. What do you mean by that?
Well, she really didn't have a comeback. I think she revealed in that debate the same thing that I think her campaign handlers are worried about right now is, Kamala Harris is an empty suit. They are trying to create this new version of Kamala Harris to match what their pollsters are telling them so she can say whatever she needs to say to try to win over voters, which is the most offensive thing, I think, because they think we're so stupid as to forget what her record actually is. And so, in 2019, very simply, I confronted her with her hypocrisy, how what she said was very different than what she actually did. And she had no answer for it. She had no explanation. She didn't even try to own or justify what her actions were. And that's going to be the key thing here for voters as we head into this election is, Kamala Harris will say whatever she thinks she needs to say. We have to pay attention to her actions because on every single major issue, you will see that same kind of hypocrisy that I pointed out in 2019, where she'll say one thing, but her record tells a very, very different story.
Well, she's got.
Yeah, and I think that is where Tulsi is going to help the most. Okay, obviously, Trump is not going to be attacking Kamala from the left, at least not on that issue. But where Tulsi comes in is that Tulsi, again, understands how to make the case against Kamala Harris in a way that is effective. So I don't think it matters.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, knowing the monster itself, because I don't think Kamala is going to have the level of detail to talk at Donald Trump. Trump, listen, guys, Trump already survived a bullet. You think he's going to be scared of Kamala Harris? They have to come up with something that is better. Also, notice how the Democrats are running this race like Kamala is not part of the current administration, when she's literally the vice president of the United States. See, this is what a lot of these leftoids don't understand. You are part of the problem today. And a lot of curveballs are going to come. And I don't think she's going to be ready.
Which angle Tulsi will be coming at Kamala. I think that Tulsi just knows how to expose somebody like Kamala. So I'm hoping that this can translate into criticizing Kamala or exposing Kamala from the right. But the whole goal here is to make the audience believe that they can't trust Kamala. Like, for example, on issues like the border, where Kamala comes out and says that she's going to be tough on the border. Yeah, you can't trust her on that, right? Now, you can't trust her when it comes to the communism stuff, right? When she talks about setting prices, okay, for goods and services, right?
Communist.
Food, stuff like that. Yeah. Trust her on that, right? She's a far leftist, okay, when it comes to the economic stuff. But when you talk about the border, okay, she's also a far leftist on that issue, but she's trying to position herself as a moderate, right? On issues like that, no, you cannot trust Kamala Harris. She's not a moderate on the border. She's a full-blown extremist. She wants open borders, okay? She wants to decriminalize illegal immigration. She wants to give illegals free health care. She wants to grant all the illegals amnesty and citizenship. This is what she wants to do.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Okay, and
that's why they never stopped the border. I agree with him.
She will try to do if she gets in the White House.
Got 3.5 weeks to straighten it out because that's when the debate is on September 10th. Here's another issue that you're talking about here, Axios. When she was running for president in 2019, she was for decriminalizing illegal border crossings. No more, she has backed off. And that's just one of the issues now, okay? And here is Harris in her own words on border policies.
I'm not in favor of decriminalizing or not having consequence for. We have to keep. Let me just be very clear. We have to have a secure border, but I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminal. We've got.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. That basically don't have a country. At that point, you're literally inviting state to succeed in union. Do you really understand? Do you really understand what you're doing when you say stuff like that? You're literally looking for secession. Could that mean the federal government, which is supposed to be the one keeping this thing together, are not willing to keep this thing together, allowing people from other countries to invade the country that you're supposed to be protecting?
To critically re-examine ICE and its role and the way that it
crazy,
is being
bro.
administered and the work it is doing, and we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
I want to know,
A lot of whole shit.
when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one. On day one.
You need to do a 180 on all of
Wow.
this now, Tulsi. And
Wow.
the only way you can effectively do it is if you have the media in your back pocket.
Which she does. She has
Yeah.
the mainstream propaganda media helping her, collaborating with her. Frankly, they should be reported for these in-kind contributions they are making to her campaign because
Facts.
Yeah,
they are
100%.
in-kind contributions. Essentially, she's getting free campaign donations from the media, right? That's what's happening, okay? When people talk about elections being rigged, okay, the main way they do it is through the media, okay? That is what they're doing, okay? That's exactly what they're doing through the media, and it's so obvious, right? It's so obvious. Anybody can see it.
That's
they
insane,
are
man.
doing her work for her. They're trying to claim that she was not the border czar after all, even though there are many, many clips of them saying, well, she was in fact the border czar. I think, you know, so many of those clips she may try to say, oh, well, that was back then. That was back in 2019. The problem that she has to reckon with is the fact that her actions, her positions, and lack of action and failures for that matter as vice president match very directly with what she was saying in 2019. She really does believe in open borders. They really do believe in allowing millions of illegal immigrants to come across our borders, flood our communities. They really do believe in making sure that they have over 10 million new future voters. So again, actions will speak louder than words. Kamala Harris is fake. She's a consummate politician. We've got to pay attention to her record as vice president.
We will watch together and see how she does.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now,
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know, folks. I'm gonna leave the link in the description down below. That way you can watch Black Conservative Perspective. It's very good, man. But this is crazy stuff, bro. Man. And then you have the factor that she's a woman of color, and well, color meaning she's not white. And then you have the woman vote, and the woman vote. There's almost everything. I would say 70-30. 70 in favor of their emotion. They just voted an emotion. Oh, man. We have to have a lot of conversations. We have to have a lot of conversations, real conversations about the country. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one.